Has this been an issue in your churches, in your discussions?
Da li je ovo bilo predmet rasprava u vašim crkvama?
Have you ever had questions about this? Do you want to share anything about that?
Da li bi htjeli nešto podijeliti u vezi toga možda, kakve su bile rasprave u vašim zajednicama?
Meni se čini da u zadnje vrijeme čujemo o tome više nego ikad prije.
I think lately I've been hearing about this more than ever before.
Okay.
Kod je taj problem ponovo odbiti.
Like this problem has surfaced again.
Okay.
I isto vjerovatno je jedino objašnjenje da je to paradoks.
And I believe also that it's a paradox.
Yeah.
It's my own explanation.
Yeah. It resists simplifying. It's a problem that resists simplifying.
Dakle, to je jedan od problema koji se opire jednostavnom odgovoru.
What do you think is causing the issue to bubble up?
Zašto se taj predmet sad pojavio? Što misliš?
Ne znam.
Well, okay. Is it
because of hyper grace teaching?
Okay, hyper grace teaching. Yeah. It can be a theological debate that's motivated by people trying to figure things out theologically.
To može biti teološka rasprava gdje ljudi žele razlučiti što je to, što je što.
A lot of times, pastorally, I think it comes from people being worried about themselves or worried about people that they love.
U pastoralnom smislu problem dolazi od toga kad su ljudi zabrinuti za sebe ili za ljude koje vole.
And so this particular teaching becomes very comforting for someone who has lost a loved one when they're not sure how their loved one was living, family member.
I onda recimo učenje o sigurnosti spasenja je vrlo utješno onima koji su izgubili voljenu osobu, a za koju nisu sigurni kako je ta osoba živjela svoj život.
Most of the churches that I've been in my life have not taught that suicide was an unforgivable sin. Have not. Most of the churches that I've been in did not teach that suicide was unforgivable.
Znači, većina crkava u kojima sam ja bio nisu poučavale da je suicid neoprostiv grijeh.
And so in our churches, when someone had a family member commit suicide,
u našim crkvama, ako je neku u obitelji počinio samoubojstvo,
it would bring up these questions about their salvation and did God elect them, or were they predestined to go to heaven anyway?
Pojavila bi se ta pitanja o tome gdje će završiti, da li su izabrani, da li ih je Bog predodredio i sl.
What is the view regarding suicide here in Croatia?
Kakav je pogled na samoubojstvo ovdje u Hrvatskoj, hrišćanskom pogledu?
Is it that suicide is an unforgivable sin? Do most people think that?
Ali ljudi misle da je to neoprostiv grijeh. Kad nije to više katoličko učenje. I think it's more of a
You think that's more of a Catholic doctrine, a Catholic teaching? I was wondering how much influence that had with evangelicals here.
Da, pitao sam se da li je ta katolička nauka utjecala i na evanđelsku nauku.
Yeah. That is one of the places though where this has come up is when someone is worried about someone they love who has died.
To se često javlja kad su ljudi zabrinuti za nekoga tko je umro.
Or someone is worried about their own salvation because they've fallen into some kind of a sin and it really frightens them.
Ili se netko uplašio za vlastito spasenje zbog pada u neki grijeh.
As a pastor, not as a theologian.
Kao pastor, ću sada reći, a ne kao teolog.
I would quote Spurgeon to them.
Ja bih citirao Spurgeona.
The great British preacher Charles H. Spurgeon said, if you're worried about your salvation, you're fine.
Dakle, taj veliki propovjednik je rekao, ako se brineš u vezi svoga spasenja, onda znači da si okej.
He said, it's the people who aren't worried about their salvation that I worry about.
On je rekao, ja se brinem za one koji nisu zabrinuti za svoje spasenje.
So, I'll quote that as a preacher, not as a theologian.
To je citat propovjednika.
I have questions about the theology, but it's good pastoral care.
Ali teško je razlučiti tu teologiju, ali je dobar pastoralni.
Here's a warning, though.
Evo jedno upozorenje.
The warning is don't try to tame God.
Upozorenje je nemoj pokušavati pripitomiti Boga.
Don't try to make God operate with a set of predetermined, easy to read, easy to predict rules.
Nemoj pokušavati uokviriti Boga da se ponaša prema jednostavnim pravilima.
Because God's a lot bigger than the rules we try to make him operate by.
Jer Bog je puno veći od tih pravila koja bi mi htjeli napraviti.
Not only is he bigger, he is also more loving and more gracious than we can imagine.
Ne samo da je veći od toga, nego i pokazuje više ljubavi i milosti nego što mi možemo zamisliti.
And so when I think about my children,
kad razmišljamo o svojoj djeci,
my children are faithful Christians.
Moje djeca jesu vjerni kršćani.
But there have been times when I've worried about my children and I've worried about their relationship with God.
Ali bilo je trenutaka kad sam se brinuo o njima i njihovom odnosu s Bogom.
Instead of trying to put God into a box and make him work the way I want him to.
I umjesto da pokušavam staviti Boga u okvire, u kutiju i učiniti da se ponaša kako bih ja želio,
I think the best thing to do is to trust that God is loving and that God is gracious.
Mislim da je najbolje se pouzdati u to da je Bog pun ljubavi i milosti.
Remember, the Bible doesn't just say that God loves us, it says that God is himself love. God is love.
Znači, Biblija ne kaže samo da nas Bog voli, nego Bog je ljubav.
And that's the center of his character.
To je središte njegovog karaktera.
All right, questions or comments?
Pitanja ili komentari?